Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we are going to continue on the transportation problem. Last week we started on writing the formulation for the transportation problem, and we identified the decision variables in the problem to be Xij, where Xij is basically the flow from source I to destination J. This problem, we call it the uncapacitated transportation problem because there is no limitation on the capacity of the link. That means Xij is unlimited. You can send, whatever you want as an amount from from I to J. This is called uncapacitated transportation problem. The objective is basically to minimize the transportation cost, which is a summation, double summation on the multiplication of cost Ij multiplied with the amount sent between between I and J, Xij. Subject to that the total production or the total outgoing from source I should be
Equal.
equal to the produced or for the supply at source I, and the total arriving at the destination J should equal the demand for that destination.
Yes.
In order to solve this problem, or for the feasibility of solving this problem, we must have the supply equal to the demand. The total supply must equal to the total demand. Okay? Okay, in this problem, I mentioned before that if we have the demand greater than the supply, we reduce the demand prorated to equal the supply. As you can see from the constraints here that it's equal, it's equations, okay? So we don't have slack and surplus variables. So if we are to write a simplex tableau, we are not going to have slack and surplus. So
Should
here's
be
the
equal.
problem. Excuse me?
It should be equal, yes?
Yes, so there is no slack or surplus. So the
Yes.
problem now, how to initiate or come up with a basic feasible solution. And that's what we started last week. These are the methods for developing an initial basic feasible solution for the simplex method for the transportation problem. We discussed last week the northwest method. Then we are going to discuss today the least cost cell, then the Vogel's approximation method. Okay. Basically, in summary, what's the northwest method? The northwest method is very naive method. It's basically selecting the top left cell. The top is north and the left is going to be the west. So that's why they call it the northwest. We select just the top left cell, the most top left cell, and we allocate as many or as much as we can, such that we do not exceed the supply or the demand. Then once we consume a supply or demand, we cross it out, then we move to the next cell, and so on. As we showed in this example, okay, we picked this cell and we assigned 75. That's the maximum. 75, that was the supply from cannery 1. We supplied this 75 out of the demand at warehouse 1. It was 80, so we supplied 75, so we still have 5 remaining. We crossed the cannery 1, we moved to the northwest, so that was the northwest corner. We assigned 5 because the demand here is 5 and the supply here was 125 and so on. We moved on and we filled this. As we mentioned, the total cost here was 165,000 US dollars and 595. We are not expecting this method to give us a near optimal even, because this method didn't take into consideration the word cost by any means. So we move from here to
Richard,
the, excuse me?
yes, sorry, please. Could you please return back to the slide?
Yes.
You said about last week you talked about something about the warehouse 3. Could you please remember us about it?
Warehouse 3? I don't recall what I said about warehouse 3. Okay, I
Something
think
equals 0.
I guess you I know okay. Could you hold on for just 5 minutes, Abdullah?
No
We'll
problem.
get to that. Okay. Here, that's the least cost cell method. This one is a little bit smarter than the previous method. Here we take into account the cost of the cells. Okay, so we sort the cells according to the cost. Then we start with the minimum. We assign the maximum allowable amount to the minimum cell. Then we go to the next cell and so on. You get the point? So let's go here, and I prepared this table. Here, the small numbers are the cost of transporting from cannery 1 to warehouse 1, from cannery 1 to warehouse 2, and so on. And the amount allocated are zeros. Okay? So here we want to pick the cell, okay, with the lowest transportation cost. Which one is that? I think this one is going to be, that's the cell with the least cost. Okay, correct. Let's call it 1. What is the next cell?
388.
388. That's the next cell. What's after that?
416.
416. Good. Okay, that's not good. Okay. What next?
448.
400 and 464. Correct? Okay. Let's hold on for a while and let's look for the minimum cost cell. This one is the least cost, right? Let's assign here the maximum we can. How much can we do we assign? The demand for warehouse 1 is 85. The supply from cannery 2 is 125. How much should I supply here? 85, correct? Then this one becomes striked and 0. So this one altogether is fulfilled, correct? And this one, the remaining out of the 125 becomes how much? We subtract 85 out of 125. So how much we have here? 40? صح يا شباب?
Yes.
Okay. And this column is out of the loop. Okay. Where's the minimum cost cell here? This one. Correct? So let's assign the maximum here. How much? 70. Correct? And this 100 is going to be available 30 out of the 100. And this 100 is just striked out. Okay? Okay. So this warehouse is fulfilled. Okay. Now, where is the cell with the least cost? I think this one. Correct?
Yes.
Let's assign the maximum amount. that we have? How much?
65.
The demand is 65, but what's available here is only 40.
Mhm.
That's what's left here is just 40. So here we're gonna put 40. And this one is striked out. Correct? And this one is going to be 25, and the 65 is just striked out. Okay? And this way we can just eliminate this cannery because it's being consumed. What's available in cannery 2 is how much? Nothing. Correct, ya shabab? So we are only left with these 4 cells. Where is the cell with the minimum cost? This one. Right? Let's assign
Yes.
the maximum. How much do we can assign here? 75 or 25?
25.
Only 20.
25.
Okay. Here, this one becomes 0. And those are just, oops. And this one becomes 50. And this one is out of the loop. Okay, here, where is the cell with the least cost? This one.
600.
Okay, we assign here 30. Okay, and we assign here 50. Correct? Let's do, and here is going to be 0, and here is going to be 0, and here will be 0. Okay? So let's go and calculate our new cost. How much is our new cost? Just multiply the number. The zeros are going to be omitted, but multiply the assigned values with the cost. So here we have 25 multiply 513 plus 50 multiply 867 plus 85 multiply 352 plus 416 multiply 40 plus 70 multiply 388 plus 30 multiply 685 equal. Yeah, someone, do the calculation.
Uh, 150 and 450.
Hold a second, there is a mistake here. That's 85 multiply.
$150,000 and 445.
100 and
50,000
أيوة
and 445.
445. Okay, thanks Muhammad. Okay, Shabab. Let's now have a look and compare between what we got here and what we had before. Here, that's what we had before. Okay, the total cost was 165,595 US dollars. Okay, Okay, Abdullah, look here. We have here 15 and 85. Okay, despite the fact that this one was with the least cost cell. Okay, يعني اللي عاوز اقوله ان الطريقه اللي احنا اشتغلنا بيها المره الماضيه تمام كانت مفيش فيها منطق. ليه؟ لان هنا ركز معايا كده يا عبد الله، من cannery number 3 to warehouse number 3. Okay, that's the least cost, or the I think I'm sorry, that's the second least cost. Okay, yet it only assigns 15 here. Okay, in our example, it assigns 70 here. Okay, so here we see that this method is taking into consideration the cost of transportation, but the earlier method didn't take that into account. So there is no wonder, okay, why the total cost or the total transportation cost here was lower than the previous example or the previous method. Okay, مفهوم يا عبد الله؟
إن شاء الله مفهوم يا دكتور.
Okay. Okay, however, this approach, the least cost cell method, this method, we call it a greedy method. Greedy method, that means can be translated in Arabic طريقة جشعة. تمام? And usually the greedy methods does not guarantee to get you the best result. Okay? There is another method, okay, which is the Vogel's approximation method. And I'm going to explain it using this example here. Here we add two columns, one column and another row. Okay. Here we look for the next minimum. In other words, how much is the next minimum to this one in this row? How much? That was the least cost, correct? Where is the next minimum? This one is the next minimum. What is the difference between both of them? 513 minus 464 equal 49. So we write here 49. Okay. In this row, we have 416 and 352. 416 and 352. 416 minus 352. We have 64. Okay. Okay. In this row, where is the least, or where is the least cell? That's the least cell. Where is the next least to it? Is 682. Is 682, correct? So 682 minus 388. It's 294. Okay, we go here. Let's calculate the difference between the least cost and the next least cost in this column. So we have the least cost is 352. The next is 464. So we have 464 minus 352. We have 112. We do the same here. That's 416. That's the minimum or the least. Here is going to be the 513. That's the next minimum. So this one will be 97. Here the least is 388. The next minimum is 654. 654 minus 388. 266. 266. And here the least cost is 685. The next one is 791. So the difference is going to be 106. Correct?
صحيح.
صحيح. So that's the first step. The next step, it's a pick the minimum cell, okay, that has the maximum next minimum. Okay, Where is this one? It's in this row. Correct? Where is that minimum cell? It's this cell. Assign here the maximum. 70. This one becomes striked. Sorry. And becomes 0. Okay, and this entire column goes out of the calculation. Okay, and this available here, instead of 100, it becomes 30. Okay, then revise all of these values again. This
Doctor,
one, Nam,
30 or 25?
Kem,
30 or 25?
why 25? We assigned here 70.
Ah,
صح?
yes, yes.
So we
Yes, yes.
consumed out of the 170. So the remaining is 30.
It's 30, yes, yes.
Okay?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Back again. So now our problem is just in these 3 columns. This column is out of the problem. This warehouse is done. So what do we know? We want to revise this next delta. Okay. So here is going to stay the same. Here is going to stay the same. Here is going to stay different. Where is the minimum cell? This is now the minimum. What is the next minimum? 685. So here we have 3. These columns stay the same. Okay, so our next cell will be the cell with the highest next minimum, which is here. صح? اللي هي this cell. Okay, assign the maximum you want, or the maximum you can. Here we have 85. So this one is striked. Okay, and this one becomes 40. Okay, and this warehouse goes out of the loop because it has been served. So let's revise these values. This one is 513 and this one is 867. The difference is how much? 867 minus 513, 354. This one is 791 minus 416,
375.
375. Okay, here 3 stay as it is, there is no problem, and the columns stay as they are. Okay, so now where we go? Which cell now we go to?
minimum.
Okay, we go for the maximum next minimum. That's the maximum next minimum. Okay, which cell associated with this is this cell. Okay, how much we assign here? The maximum we can. How much we can, what's the maximum? 40, because that's what's available in supply from cannery number 2. This one becomes striked, and now we have 0 here available. And this cannery goes out of calculation. Okay, and out of the 65, we supplied how much? 40. So the remaining that we need to fulfill is 25. Okay, now this one is not going to change. This one might change because we have 685 and 67 minus 685. So this one's going to be 182. And here we have 682 and 513. 682 minus 513 is 169. So which cell we pick now? The one with the maximum next minimum. Okay, so that's this cell. How much we need to allocate here? The maximum we can. What is the maximum? The supply is 75, the demand is 25. So we give it the demand needed, which is 25. So this one becomes 0. And this 75 becomes 50 because we have taken 25 out of it. Okay, and this warehouse is fulfilled, so it gets crossed out. Okay, so here, where's the least costs or the minimum cell? Here we assign the maximum. It's going to be 30, and here is going to be 50. Okay, and this one becomes 0. This one becomes, 0. And this one is just fulfilled. Okay. So this one is already done. Now, let's calculate the cost. Let me just drag this one up. Let's calculate the total cost. We have 85 multiply 352 plus 25 multiply 513 plus 40 multiply 416 plus 70 multiply 388 plus 50 multiply 867 plus 30 multiply 685. Okay, يا شباب.
$150,000, and the same number as
150,
and 440.
440,
45.
45.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Look, here we ended up with the same solution. That's the solution from the least cost cell. And here we had the same solution. Okay. And the point is the Vogel approximation method usually gives you either a better solution or at least the least cost method solution. ماشي يا شباب؟ عبد الله.
Yes, with you, Doctor.
اوكي. الفكرة مفهومة للكل ولا في مشكلة؟
صراحة شوي فيها لخبطة.
فيها لخبطة. Okay. Let's have another example.
Yes, please, Doctor.
And this example I'm going to solve it manually, not on the computer. ماشي؟
ماشي.
Okay. Let me just turn my camera on. اوكي. الصورة واضحة كده يا شباب؟ خلينا ايه example 2.
إيه واضح يا دكتور.
جميل. خلينا ناخد example تاني عشان نشوف الدنيا بس تبقى أوضح بالنسبة لنا شوية يعني. Okay. Let's assume that we have this supply and demand matrix. ده هنا supply 1, supply 2, supply 3. وهنا we have demand 1, demand 2, demand 3, وهنا supply 4. خلينا نقول الديماند هنا محتاج 250، هنا 125، هنا 225. يبقى التوتال ديماند هنا كام؟ 250 plus 225 125 that means 0 0 1 يبقى هنا 600. عندنا 4 suppliers هنا 150 150 150 and 150. I'm going to put a cost here 3. That's the transportation cost. Okay, 6 or 5, 8. Here's 10, and here is 7, 4, 6, 7, 12, 10, 11, 8. طيب لو هنيجي نشتغل بالطريقه بتاعت اللي هي الليست او مش الليست، اللي هي النورث ويست ميثود. النورث ويست ميثود هنشتغلها ازاي؟ هنبتدي نطلع نورث ويست ونحط هنا الماكسيمم. الماكسيمم هنا كام؟ 150. اوكي، يبقى ده خلاص طلع بره القصه. ده هنا بدل ما هو 250 بقى ايه؟ 100 ديماند. تمام؟
كده
جميل.
تمام.
هنخش على في يبقى ده كده بره القصه. تمام؟ جميل. طب نورث ويست، ادي النورث
برا القصه لان السبلاي ايكوال 0 صح؟
كده السبلاي بقى زيرو هنا.
اي
تمام، احنا اخذنا consumed all the supply here.
كده.
Okay, now northwest 100. Okay, here we have 50. Okay, here we have zero demand. يبقى هنا ده كده ايه؟ يبقى ده كده ايه؟ out of the ايه؟ of the problem. So we are only left with this part, with destination D2 and D3, and second supplier, third supplier, fourth supplier. So northwest, that's the northwest. What's the maximum
125.
we can allocate? 50.
125.
Here 0. Out of 125, we have 75 still. Northwest, that's the one. Here 75. يبقى هنا 75. Okay. ولا كده؟ ده كده غلط. This one is wrong. Because we still have 75 left at the supplier.
Yes.
But here we have 0. We don't have any demand. So this one is gone. Okay. So the
Sorry,
north.
doctor, the 50 from where? The 50 from where did you get it?
Which 50? This one?
ايه اللي بالنص ايوه.
The previous step.
كيف؟
اخدناها جبناها من الستيب اللي قبليها، جبناها من السبلاير 2. Okay, let me just repeat the problem again. Here we started with the northwest. So this one with the northwest. We put here, we allocated here the maximum we can. How much we can? 150. That's the maximum this supplier can provide. The demand here is 250, but we are able to supply the maximum 150 from supplier 1. So we put the 150 here. Okay, then we took supplier 1 out of the loop because there's 0 available from him. Okay, then once we allocated 150, then the demand here is reduced from 250 to only 100 because we have supplied already 150. معايا يا عبد الله؟
ايوه معاك يا دكتور.
جميل. Then we continue on the northwest. Okay, we go, that's north, that's west. Let's allocate the maximum. How much we have here? We have 150. Originally we have 150. The demand here is 100, correct?
Yes.
So we assign here 100. Then this one becomes 0. This becomes 50.
50.
Okay. Then this
Okay.
demand column is out of the loop. صح؟ لأن بقى في عنده إيه؟
صح.
زيرو ديماند، مش بقى fulfilled خلاص. تمام؟ جميل.
ممتاز.
Go with the northwest. احنا عندنا ده بره الخدمة وده بره الخدمة. فين النورث ويست؟ هنا. Assign the maximum.
اخذ يعني من السبلاي.
50.
صح.
D2, the demand for destination 2 is 125. But the
We
available.
subtract the. Yes, the available is 50.
Yes. So we assign only 50. Okay. And this becomes 0. And 125 becomes 75. Okay. Then this one out of the loop. Then we go. Now we have only this part left. Okay. Okay, where's the northwest? There's the northwest corner.
7, yes.
How much we need to allocate? The demand here is 75. The supply is 150. We put the demand 75. So this becomes 0. This becomes 75. This becomes out of the loop, gets out of the loop. Okay. Then we simply assign here 75 and 150, which is the 225. Okay, let's calculate the cost. Total cost equal 150 multiply 3 plus 100 multiply 10 plus 50 multiply 7 plus 75 multiply 7 plus 75 multiply 12 plus 150 multiply 10. Total cost هتساوي كام يا شباب؟
4,725.
How much?
4,725.
Okay. That was the least cost. That was the Northwest method. Let's solve the same problem again, but we used a little bit smarter way of allocating this is D1, D2, D3, S1, S2, S3, S4. We have here supply 150, 150, 150, 150. The demand is 250, 125, 225. Okay. Let's search for the least cost link.
3.
Here. So we put 150. This one becomes 0. This one becomes 100. Okay. So this one goes out of the loop. صح يا شباب؟ جميل. Where is the least cost link?
4.
This one, put 150. So this one becomes 0. This one becomes 75. And this one goes out of the service. Where's the least cost link?
6.
6. Here, available in 150, but what is needed is 100. So we put 100. So this one becomes 50. This
50.
becomes 0. Okay. So where's the least cost link or cell? 7.
7.
The available is 50, but the demand is 125. So we just put only the available. Okay. And this one goes. A supply or demand reach 0, just goes out of the problem. Okay. So where's the least cost? Here's the 10.
8.
We assign
8.
5.
8 out.
8 gone.
And here 75. Let's do the calculation. Okay. How much is the total cost? A7. 3 multiply 150, correct? Plus 4 multiply 150 plus 100 multiply 6 plus 50 multiply 7 plus 10 multiply 75 plus 11 multiply 75 equal
3,575.
how much? 3,000.
3,575.
I think there is a hell of a difference between both numbers. صح يا شباب؟ في فرق قوي ما بين الاثنين. اوكي؟ هنا هنجرب الفوجلز ميثود. اوكي؟ approximation ونشوف هنصل الى فرق ملموس ولا ممكن نوصل لنفس الحل. اوكي؟
هو دكتور الطريقة الثانية هي الأدق صح؟
لا هو كل الطرق دي approximate. الهدف
تقريبي.
التارجت بتاعها ايه؟ ان انا بجيب حاجه اسمها بيزك فيزيبل سولوشن اللي احنا بنبتدي نشتغل فيه في السمبلكس. معايا؟ احنا
Yes.
السمبلكس عشان نشتغلها بنبتدي بايه؟ باول حاجه نبتدي بحاجه اسمها بيزك فيزيبل سولوشن، صح؟
صح.
جميل. عشان نبتدي في بيزك فيزيبل سولوشن يستحسن يكون البدايه بتاعتي near the optimum solution. فهمتني قصدي ايه؟ لكن هنا يعني هسألك سؤال، هنا لما هبتدي والحل بتاعي في هذه النقطة، هل الحل ده قريب من الاوبتيمم ولا ده هيكون قريب من الاوبتيمم؟
أظن لي الثاني.
الثاني، لان هو نير اوبتيمم. خلاص، بس ما هوش اوبتيمم. يو كان نوت جارانتي ان هو اوبتيمم.
بس الأقرب. بس الأقرب.
بس اقرب ديفينتلي، اقرب من وزي ما انت شفت ان احنا الاتريشنز بتبتدي ازاي؟ بتبتدي بسلايدنج between the corners in the feasible space. واخد بالك؟ خلينا نجرب الطريقه الثانيه، الطريقه الثالثه، ونشوف هيبقى ايه الحل. Vogel's method. هنا ده demand 1 demand 2 demand 3، وهنا السبلاي، وهنا source 1 source 2 source 3 source 4، وهنا الديماند. اوكي، نبتدي نحط الكوست بتاعتنا. هنا 3، هنا كانت 5 8 4 7 10 6 7 11 8 10 12. الطريقة بتاع Vogel's approximation: the worst performance will give you the least cost cell. تمام؟ مش هيدي لك أسوأ من كده يعني. تمام؟ هنا الديماند كان 250، وهنا 125، here 225. The supply here was 150 150 150 150. طيب هنا بيقول لك ايه؟ حط لي الديفرنس، اوكي، between the minimum and the next minimum. هنا the minimum is 3، the next minimum is 5. يبقى هنا ايه؟ plus 2. هنا the minimum 4، واللي بعديها كام؟ 7. يبقى 3. هنا 6 و7 1. هنا 8 و10 و11 2. طيب بالنسبة للكولمز، عندك 3 وبعديها كام؟ 6. يبقى هنا 3، هنا 5 وبعديها كام؟ 7 2. هنا 4 وبعديها كام؟ 8. صح؟ صح يا شباب؟
Yes.
الطريقة بتقول لك ايه بقى؟ خد السيل اللي عندها لو سبتها هتغرم كتير. فهمتني الفكرة بتاعتها ايه؟ فهناخد السيل دي، حط عندها ماكسيمم يو كان، فهنحط هنا 150، لان هنا الديماند 225 والسبلاي 150، هناخد الايه الاقل فيهم اللي هو ده. يبقى كده دي كده ايه؟ خرجت بره الخدمه. تمام؟ بس دي بدل ما هي لا سوري دي بقت 0 وهنا هيبقى 75. لسه دي 3 ديستنيشن 3 عاوزين نحط له هنا 75. بس محتاجين دلوقتي بقى نراجع ايه بقى حضرتك؟ نراجع الايه؟ الكود. طبعا الرو ده ما حصلش فيه تغيير، الروز ما حصلش فيهم تغيير، بس الكولم حصل فيهم تغيير لان في عندك رو طار. يبقى هنا بالنسبه للكولم ده where's the least cost cell 8 where's the next 10 يبقى هنا 2. طب هنا where's the least cost 5 where's the next 7 2 زي ما هي. هنا 3 اللي بعديها كام؟ 6 يبقى 3. جميل. فين النكست او الهايست نكست فاليو؟ عند مين؟ شباب انا دلوقتي بقارن ما بين الاثنين والواحد والاثنين 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 والثلاثه. Which one is the highest؟ This one. صح؟ يبقى اروح على السيل المينيمم اللي عندها واحط الماكسيمم. ايه الماكسيمم اللي اقدر احطه؟ 150. هنا الافيلابل سبلاي 150 and 250. يبقى هنا ده خلاص بقى 0 وده هيبقى 100. وكده السبلاير ده خرج بره المعادله. طب من حيث الروز المينيمم هنا كام؟ 6 اللي بعديه 7. الروز ما حصلش فيها تغيير. تعالوا نبص على الكولمز. ده هنا 6 بعديها 8 هنا 2 7 بعديها 11 هنا كام؟ 4 هنا 10 بعديها 12 2 هنا بيقول لك بقى pick the cell okay with the highest value اللي عندها next minute اللي هي الأربعة عند السبعة. يبقى هنا نحط كام؟ هنا محتاجين 125 وهنا 150 يبقى نحط 125. يبقى ده هنا كده ايه؟ بقى 0 وده بقى في عندي 25.
الكولم يروح.
تمام؟ يبقى هنا الكولم الديماند ده هنا كده يروح. اراجع بقى الايه؟ الروز. تمام؟ يبقى هنا النكست مينيمم 6 to 12 يبقى هنا تبقى كام؟ 6. وهنا 8 و10 تمام 2 زي ما هي. تمام؟ وهنا 6 و8 2 زي ما هي. 10 و12 2 زي ما هي. هنروح فين دلوقتي؟
نروح ل 12
عند الستة.
ايه 6 توديني ل 12.
تمام؟ بنروح هنا هنحط الماكسيمم. ايه الماكسيمم؟ 25.
دكتور ليش ما خذينا ال 12؟
ما احنا بنشوف. بص يا عبد الله، الفكره كالاتي. احنا بنشوف المينيمم سيل اللي لو فوتناها هندفع كتير. فهنا الستة دي لو فوتها next stop I'm gonna pay 12. لكن فهمت؟ لكن لو فوتت مثلا الثمانية اللي هدفع بعد كده كام؟ 10. فالغرامة اللي هغرمها بعد كده زيادة 2. لكن هنا لو فوتت هغرم أكتر. فبعمل assignment هنا. وصلت؟
ممتاز. وصلت.
يبقى دي 0 دي هنا 75 دي خرجت نطاق الخدمة. تمام؟ يبقى أنا عندي إيه؟ يبقى أنا هنا 75 الأخيرة وهنا 75 الأخيرة. ودي خلاص 0 ودي 0 ودي 0. تعال نحسب التوتال كوست بقى. $150 في 3 زائد 150 في 4 اللي هي دي ودي ودي زائد 25 في 6 زائد 125 في 7 اوكي زائد 8 في 75 زائد 10 في 75. تمام؟ هيطلع كام يا محمد؟
ألفين وثمانمية وخمسة وثمانين يا دكتور ولا مو صحيح؟
3306.
3000 كام؟
306.
يبقى شايفين يا شباب احنا ايه؟ نزلنا من 4725 ل 3575 ل 3306. تمام؟ ده هنا كانت نايف ميثود لا تلقي اي اعتبار للكوست. تمام؟ هنا جريدي ميثود تاخد into consideration الكوست بس in a greedy fashion. هنا فيها smarter way of dealing with the problem. فهنا كان حصل reduction بس طبعا مش دراماتيك زي الريدكشن اللي شايفينه ما بين الاثنين دول. واضح يا شباب؟ اي سؤال اي استفسار؟ طيب ناخد بريك ونرجع كمان 10 دقايق. اوكي؟
اوكي.